Too often, our elite black parents, middle class and better, middle class and better, middle class and better, they are depriving their black children of the right and the need to be socialized around other black children. When you do this, you set them apart. When you do this, you make them think they're too good to be around other black people. When you do this, you force them to over-identify with white folks. Tyler Perry, and again, I'm only using you as a metaphor. Do you not understand when your son turns 18? Do you not understand when your son is 16 and 17 and he follows in his father's footsteps and is a mogul and a celebrity or a great athlete or entertainer or businessman? Some of those white parents will train their daughters to trap your son into a snow bunny relationship. Are you not aware that your son, because he is black and is your son, some of those parents whose daughters don't end up with the comfortable life that their parents had, they're going to train their daughters to target your son for marriage, Tyler Perry, not because they love your son, not because they care about him, but they always see the rich black man as an easy and accessible route to financial comfortability and comfortable living. They will target your son, Tyler Perry. They're going to target your son. And if you don't tell him how racism operates against rich blacks, he will fall victim to it, as so many celebrities have done. Are you telling me, Tyler Perry, that you went from rags to riches, from poverty to prosperity? You're building up a multi-billion-dollar movie empire, a multi-billion-dollar entertainment complex. You're the first black man in American history with his own movie studio. What if you find out 50 years from now, let's say 100 years from now, when you are an ancestor, I am an ancestor? How will you feel, Tyler Perry? How will you feel? Forget being an ancestor. Let's say you're retired. You're an 80-year-old retired black man. You're 90 years old, 70 years old, and your son inherits your empire. Tyler Perry's son inherits his empire, marries a white girl who had nothing, marries a white girl who has nothing. Because if you look at most of the rich black men with white wives, you know this to be true, Tyler Perry. I'm not telling you nothing you don't know. If you look at most rich black men with white wives, those women came from very humble circumstances. Those women came from very humble circumstances. From the women Michael Jackson married, rest in peace to MJ, to the woman Tyler Perry married, who's now a billionaire. Look at the women our rich black athletes marry. Look at the women our rich black celebrities marry. I'm sure Dave Chappelle's Asian wife wasn't a millionaire. I'm sure Dave Chappelle's Asian wife was not a millionaire. No disrespect to him. But the point I'm making, Tyler Perry, your son is going to be a target for poor white girls to get rich overnight. Your son is going to be a target for poor white girls to get rich overnight. If you don't give him no racial consciousness, he will fall for it. How would you feel, Tyler Perry, at 80, 90, 60, 70 years old, to find out your son inherited your empire and lost every penny of it to a white woman in divorce? How would you feel, Tyler Perry, to find out a white woman took half of what you built? How would you feel to find out a white woman took half of what you built from your son? From your son, and she takes it back to her white community. She takes it back to her white family. And guess what, Tyler Perry? You can't blame him. You can't blame him. You have to look in the mirror and blame you and your queen. You have to look in the mirror and blame you and your queen for not raising that boy with a racial consciousness. Do you see what I'm getting at, Brother Tyler? And all this is done behind closed doors. Nobody knows this. This is a family secret. When you train your child about race and racism, when you educate them about race and racism, this is a family secret. This is a family secret. You don't publish this. When I teach my students about race and racism at the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy, that's a confidential thing. They don't go publicizing that. That is between you, your queen, your children. But you better do it. What I'm telling you, Tyler Perry, is educating your son about race and racism is the difference between keeping your empire and losing your empire. It's the difference between Tyler Perry Studios being in the Tyler Perry family forever or it being lost to a white takeover in 50 years. It's the difference between the Tyler Perry Studios being in your family bloodline forever or it being permanently lost and taken by white folks. That's right, Tyler Perry. That's right. Black celebrities, rich blacks, financially and academically comfortable blacks. You better start teaching your child about race and racism. Because part of them being educated about race and racism depends on the survival, longevity of your legacy. I know you didn't come this far, Tyler Perry. I know you didn't come this far to give half of your empire to a poor white girl because your son had no racial consciousness. Because right now, that's what you're doing. Right now, your son is at a privileged white school. He's going to start getting attracted to white girls because it ain't too many black ones there. He's going to start liking the Asian girls, the Latino girls. He's going to start liking them. He's going to develop an appetite for snow bunny love. Your son is going to develop an appetite for snow bunny love. That's right. What are you going to say when he marries a white girl? Prenup, no prenup? If you get a prenup, all she going to do is have a bunch of babies like Kim Kardashian. If he gets a prenup, all she going to do is have a bunch of babies like Kim Kardashian. So even if you don't get the money through the prenup, you're going to get the money through the child support. But either way, Tyler Perry, that white girl will eat off your empire if you don't give your son a racial consciousness. And please don't tell me, sir. We are behind closed doors right now. Please don't tell me. You don't have to tell the white world this. You have to protect yourself. Please don't tell me you're okay with your son marrying outside of his race. Are you raising that boy to think it's okay to give his father's empire, to share his father's empire with a non-black woman? I think I know you better than that. Something tells me, Tyler Perry, that you're not going to make that mistake. I got a feeling that Tyler Perry is not going to make the mistake, brothers and sisters, of allowing his son to marry outside the race. Something tells me Tyler Perry is a decent enough celebrity to let his son know that you are going to marry an African queen, not because we hate white women, because we don't. Not because we hate Chinese women, because we don't. Not because we hate Arab or East Indian or Latino women, because we don't. But the reason you're going to marry a black woman is because you are black. And Tyler Perry Studios should benefit black people before it benefits anybody else. Please give your son some black boys and girls to play with. Please do not rob him of his developmental right. Please do not rob him of his psychosocial need to be around other black boys and girls. Tyler Perry, start the discussion now, my brother. Black parents out there, start the discussion now.